Lovely. And welcome to our viewers, those who couldn't make it live, to our paste and sauces class. We're going to record this, and I'm so excited to bring this class to you. My name's Jessica. I'm from the Adelaide Hills, and when I got my Thermomix 10 years ago, I wasn't thinking about sauces. I didn't realise I'd be able to make sauces in the Thermomix. So when I realised all the amazing sauces and pastes that you can make in the Thermomix, I was really pleasantly surprised. And today we're going to bring a few sauces to you guys, and we're going to show some different ways of using those. And together with our audience, we might come up with some more tips as well. As I said, my name's Jessica. I'm going to be starting with tikka paste, which is a great one for Indian cooking. And I have my lovely team with me. We are the Flying Thermingos. So if you guys would like to join the team, you certainly can. I'll tell you more about that. And I'd love to introduce the rest of our lovely team. I can see Joy and Kylie are ready. So I'm going to move over to Joy first. Hello, Joy.
Hi, Jess. I need a 16-year-old. Has anybody got a 16-year-old they can send around to help me with all this technology?
You've done well, and your setup's looking fabulous. Nice to have you, Joy. And what are you going to make for us?
I'm going to make a marinade.
Lovely.
Let me just bring it up. Ginger, chili and soy marinade. And I'm going to make mine a little bit different because I have FODMAP issues, and I'm not particularly gluten-free, but I don't mind. I prefer to eat gluten-free most of the time.
Lovely. Well, we can't wait to see that a bit later on and hear about how to substitute the FODMAP.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joy. We'll see you in a moment. And I'm going to head over to Kylie. Kylie hasn't actually started as a consultant yet, so she's been really brave. Well done, Kylie. Kylie's also from the Hills, and she's joined up to be a consultant in our team, and she's currently doing training. How are you finding your training so far, Kylie?
Yeah, it's excellent. It's easy to do. You can do it in your own time, and everyone's been really helpful. I really like the business one I did yesterday. That was really good with Monica. There's lots of helpful tips and made it seem less intimidating than you think it's going to be. So yeah, it was really good.
Well done. And you're jumping in the deep end today by presenting with us. So congratulations. What are you going to be showing us, Kylie?
I'm going to make plum sauce. It's the sort of plum sauce that you might put on a stir fry or over a roast, or some chicken and oven baked with some veggies, or even just make some steamed chicken and veggies in the thermi and then put the sauce over top of them. It's lovely. I've actually made it before. It's delicious and spicy and not too heavy. Yeah, I
can't wait. I've never made that one, so I can't wait to see that and hear more about that. Thank you so much for joining us, Kylie. We'll come and see you in a moment, and I'm going to go over to Mel. Introduce everyone to you, Mel. What are you making for us, Mel?
So today I'm making a Peri-Peri Sauce, a Nando's inspired one from Recipe Community. And I'm also making a barbecue sauce because we've been making a lot of barbecued pork ribs, which uses barbecue sauce, and we thought that was cheating a little bit. So we actually wanted to make it the other day, but it took 90 minutes, so we just used up the last of the barbecue sauce that we had. So I'm actually looking forward to making the barbecue sauce today, and I really enjoyed getting all the ingredients together and seeing all the nice ingredients and knowing there's no numbers going in there. So
lovely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And peri-peri mayo we've been using heaps of, so after I make the peri-peri sauce after this class, I might make some mayo and report back to you. So hopefully I can reduce some plastic there.
Yeah, reducing plastic and
consumption with mayo. So so the peri-peri sauce is a good opportunity to get that happening as well. So I was happy to take these up.
Lovely. Thank you for volunteering to share those sauces with us today, Mel. And I love that you are going to be reducing your plastics and you're already reducing your numbers in your household. So well done. And we look forward to seeing that a bit later on today. And I just wanted to show you my lovely tray of the second dish that I'm doing, which is a green curry paste. So it just looks, I think it looks gorgeous with all the fresh ingredients. I'm going to pop that aside because I'm going to do that one a bit later on in the class. And what we'll do now is we'll get going with the tikka paste. Now this one, for those of you guys, a few of you have got your TM31 originally, back when I got mine as well, and you might have noticed in the Spiral Indian cookbook that there was a tikka paste and it went into the butter chicken. That was always my original favourite butter chicken recipe, and that tikka paste I loved. So I'm going to be showing you that one today, and we'll talk about ways on how to use it as well. So I've just tapped into my week because I've popped in all different sauces into today, into the calendar, because when we were researching which sauces do we want to do, I think we came up with a really long list and we had to narrow it down, and we might follow up with a second sauces class and give lots of ideas there as well. But this is the tikka paste. So I'm going to press start cooking. There we go. And that's going to walk us through, as you guys know. But for those that don't have a Thermomix, it's got our built-in scales, which is really handy. And we're going to make a spice mix first with this paste. These are coriander seeds, and I'm very proud that we actually grew these a few years ago. So that is a whole stack of coriander seeds that are going to go in, and cumin seeds. Going to pop them in next. I have pre-weighed everything. So these little tubs, I had exactly the right amount left. These ones are the yogurt jars from the mix shop, with the labels available in the mix shop as well, if you guys are interested. It's asking for Kashmiri chilies. I'm just going to use some chilies that we actually did grow and dry as well. Have no idea what type of chilies, but I'm just going to put 2 because I know the Kashmiri chilies aren't as hot, and I don't want my paste too hot either, which is the beauty of doing your own curry paste, isn't it? Because you can choose how hot or spicy you want it. Some black peppercorns, some whole ones. I didn't grow those, but I'm sure you could. And that's all those spices are in there, and we're going to use the Thermomix to toast those for 5 minutes. So it's got 5 minutes on the clock for aroma temperature, speed 1. So we're going to toast them, and then we're going to mill them. And isn't the smell is just going to be amazing, isn't it, when you mill your own spices? So Renee. Who's Renee? Renee's coming in. Don't know who Renee is. She's coming to join us. I have a friend called Renee in Japan. That would be funny if she's watching. Anyway, that's going to happen. We're going to jump over to Mel with her barbecue sauce while my spices are toasting in the Thermomix. So we will come back to me in a bit and we'll start making some barbecue sauce.
We're going to start with the peri-peri mayo.
Oh, sorry. That's right.
So this is a recipe, community recipe. Sorry you can't see my screen. It's really annoying, but I'll just talk you through what I'm doing. So I'm following a recipe off my computer that's in front of me. Sometimes I use my Google, whatever it's called, the this thing. The hub, yeah. Sometimes I use that to follow along. I actually find that really handy, actually. It's almost like doing the guided cooking pretty much. So, yeah, on with the Peri-Peri Nando sauce. So we're placing garlic and capsicum into our bowl. I'm using dried chili instead of fresh chili. So I'm actually going to put it at the first step, just because that's how I feel like doing it today. No other reason really. So that's the great thing about Thermomix, and you can still do it how you want to do it. So 5 seconds. So we've got our time, and we don't need any temperature because we're just chopping. So straight over to the speed, and I'm going to turn that around to speed 7. You can hear how powerful it is. I think 250 kilometers an hour, is that right, Jess? That's how fast the blades spin around. All right, so next,
almost as fast as a chimpanzee.
Next, we're going to add some oil. So we're going to pop over to the scales. That's one of the modes, which is really handy. So it doesn't have to be in a recipe. You can go to the scales whenever you want, even throughout a recipe. So we've got 3/4 cup of, no idea what that weighs. So, all right, 3/4 cup of oil. Add oil, so 3/4 cup of oil, half juice of a lemon. Got heaps of lemons on my tree at the moment. And white wine vinegar. So that one we need 100 grams of. That's the one we need the scales for. So nice and easy just to be able to put your scales on and don't have to get an extra thing out of your cupboard. Like, I'm really bad at putting things away, so it's really handy for me. I'm just going to give the bowl, you can see how nice and small all that garlic and capsicum was chopped up before in just 5 seconds. So you can imagine how long, I don't even know how long that takes anymore. I feel kind of spoiled, maybe. Yeah, all right, so pushed all that down, and we'll go back to our time, temperature and speed screen. So we've got 10 minutes on the time, so just turn your dial around, so you've got 10 minutes, and the temperature is 90 degrees, so just turn the dial again, go around to 90 degrees. Make sure we've got the lid on, and we're doing that at speed 3. So that's going to be cooking for 10 minutes. And then we'll come back and do the last little bit.
Awesome. Thank you, Mel. That's great. All those fresh ingredients, and you've got the power of choice of what type of ingredients you put in. Like you said, Mel, that's great. And perfect timing. Mine literally just finished, so that was very well timed. I've popped the ticker paste that I'm doing into the chat box, and we'll pop Mel's recipe in as well. I noticed there's a Peri-Peri sauce in cookie dough, Mel. Might be similar. I think it's similar. Anyway, this is smelling amazing. I wish everyone could smell. Has anybody milled before? I'd love to hear if you've milled some spices before. I usually give it a shake, let it cool down just a little bit before milling. Let's have a look what it says. It says keep the measuring cup in place. It doesn't say to cool down. So we'll keep going. I'm going to mill this for a minute, and then we'll come back and show you a little bit of condensation on there. I'm almost tempted to wipe that because I reckon it will mill better, won't it, if it's dry. We all know that. So it must have, maybe the chilies, maybe my dried chilies had a bit of liquid in them. They were from last season. I'm going to mill that for a minute, and while we're doing that, Mel is cooking. But I'd love to hear. I'd love to hear in the chat box about what things you've milled and what spices you've done. I'm going to put myself on mute.
I'll be in the picture any second now. In fact, you're in it.
I've got a really good one, Jess, that what I've done recently. I got a heap of garlic, organic garlic, I think. I don't know. Ended up with heaps of it. So we actually peeled it in the Thermomix because there was so much of it. So we did it in the water where you do it on reverse for can't remember how many seconds, but we Googled it, found it out, did it, made the peeling of the garlic heaps easier. And we blitzed it up with salt and then popped it in the dehydrator. So, and the whole dehydrator was full. Just quickly grab it and show you. So that's the first tray of it, and the whole dehydrator was full. And that's I ground this one up really fine. So this is garlic salt.
How much salt did you put in, Mel?
That was amazing. So good.
How much salt did you put in with it?
Pardon?
How much salt did you put in with it?
We did like half. So the amount of garlic I had, I added that of salt.
How much salt?
And then I figured I could always add more salt after if I wanted.
Yeah.
That was a pretty good baseline. I didn't really know where to start either with that. That was something I was like, how much salt do I need to put in? So, yeah, we just get half and it worked out great. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mel, for filling in that minute. This is smelling absolutely amazing. So if there is anyone out there that hasn't made their own spice mixes, please give it a go. You can do it another bit if you wanted it finer. I'm happy with that. That's looking great. We'll keep going. We're actually going to use all of this spice mix in our tikka paste. We've got a question saying how long would it keep in the fridge? And I'm going to talk about that in a bit, Melissa. Thank you. Now, the next bit says 50 grams of coriander stalks and leaves. So that's about that much coriander, and I've left it unchopped because I wanted to show you whenever you're putting spices in, these kind of herbs into your Thermomix. Imagine, like a spring onion or something like that. You don't put it in really long. You're still going to chop it up into about 4 centimetre pieces. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move it down so you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to keep the stalks in and the leaves. Probably could have kept the roots on as well. That's what Indian people would do, wouldn't they? So this paste, I'm going to give you some tips on how to use this paste to make your some fast meals as well. We'll just get this going. Now it's asking for 100 grams of garlic cloves. In the summertime, I bought a whole stack from the farmer's market, and I've processed them and put them in the freezer. So I'm going to now just put them in from the freezer, as well as the next step, which was some ginger. So I peel my ginger and then chop it into coins. This isn't from the freezer, but some people do that as well to preserve your ginger, but always cutting it into coins before putting it into these kind of dishes. So chuck all of that in, your garlic and your ginger. It's going to be a delicious sauce. We need some olive oil. So I've pre-weighed that. And we're going to chop all this up. I forgot there was a second chop. Sorry, Mel. Just a sec. Grinding, Mel. Okay, I forgot about this second chop. Now I'm going to get my the blended spice mix off the lid at this point as well with my spatula. And there we go. I'm going to scrape that down a bit. Okay. pop all that in. And I'm just going to mill this for a minute and I'll answer the questions in the chat box. But if somebody else wants to talk for a minute, wave your hand because I'll put it on to you guys.
Well, I've got something to show you. It's not quite spices, but I had a glut of strawberries and lemons from my next door neighbour. So I made this strawberry lemonade, which is in cookie dough, and it's absolutely beautiful. This one I've actually put a little bit of rum in. But in the recipe it says strain the pulp and discard. Now that's a dirty word in my house. So what I've done is I've dehydrated the pulp. All right, pop this back into your Thermomix, into a dry Thermomix, and whiz it up till it's how you want it. And it actually is strawberry, lemon, and a little bit of sugar, and put it on your ice cream. So, you know, I used to call myself an experimental cook. Now I think I'm going to call myself a guided cook because the Thermomix guides you with these great ideas that you can just, you know, keep going with. So that's my little thing this weekend that I did in my dehydrator.
Awesome. Thank you, Joy. I'll have to watch the playback to hear what you were saying. Because mine was so loud. Have you you were just filling in that 1 minute, is that correct?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joy. That was very helpful. And my 1 minute of high-speed processing is done. So that was all the ginger, the garlic, the chilies, and all those spices all done. And we're going to add a couple more things. So some water, and the built-in scales have come up, of course. I've just pre-weighed them to save some time. So we're putting in lemon juice next. Now, this is actually a cooked paste, and this is why I like it because it cooks up. It's going to last longer, and that answers your question, Mel. I'm going to put in some salt, so just your salt of choice, some dried onions, which I couldn't find mine, so I've put onion powder. I didn't put quite the same amount as the dried onions because I thought it might be a bit more potent, my onion powder. Not 100% sure there, but all good. And a bit of tomato puree. I've actually used tomato paste and water.
I do that all the time.
We got to adapt, don't we? There we go. Now, tomato paste is another one we could make ourselves, of course. However, as a rule for me, myself, my choice is to buy tomato paste, would you believe it? But in the summertime, I make a lot of tomato sauce, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, by the way. So there we go. Kashmiri chili powder is in here, as well as a bit of garam masala, which is another beautiful spice mix we can make. Let's pop that. I'm going to give that a little scrape. There we go. And we'll get it off the lid because we're going to cook this now. As I was saying, this one's a cooked one, which means it will last, I think technically it says 6 weeks or something. If you keep it covered with olive oil, this is the one that I keep in my fridge for a fair bit longer because it's cooked for 45 minutes. So anything where it's just processed and not cooked, you need to freeze it if you're not going to use it within 2 to 3 weeks. But this one, because it's cooked, you can keep it in a jar with olive oil on top and use it. Now, tikka paste, the uses of this is, my favourite use would be buttered chicken. And I'll pop a link to a buttered chicken recipe that's just like the old TM31 recipe, Kioni. And it's great because it uses your paste straight in. So you're going to be avoiding some of those steps and you'll save time. So But we'll, also other uses for tikka paste would be sometimes I'd literally just paste my pastes on top of protein of choice and put it in the oven. So I find that I save time that way as well, having a paste ready to go and literally pasting it on top of, it might be chicken, fish, vegetables, things you want to marinate and then cook. So I find having those pastes really save time in that way. I'm going to let that one cook and we're going to go over to another kitchen. I'll check my little thingo. It's back to Mel. If Mel's has finished cooking. Yep. Okay. And we're going to go back to see the barbecue sauce.
Well, first I was just going to finish the
sorry, the peri-peri.
the peri-peri quickly.
Sorry.
The quick 1 minute speed 10. So I've got a few more ingredients to add. So I've popped the oregano. It also asks for 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and I really like garlic, so I decided to add some of my garlic salt as part of that 1.5 teaspoon of salt. And I also realized that there's a few different recipes out there. So the one I was actually wanting to cook had tomato paste in there. So I'm going to add a little bit of tomato paste. This one that I'm following doesn't have tomato paste. Every other ingredient is the same, but it didn't have the tomato paste. But all right, so it's mix 1 minute speed 10. So all right, has anyone got something for a minute while I whiz this up?
Sure. We might even look at cookie dough for 1 minute. Alrighty, so I'm just going to screen share my cookie dough. Okay, what I was doing was I was looking up butter chicken. There it is. This is the one. Oops. Have I unmuted myself? Yep. This is the one that I found actually uses tikka paste, which we're creating now. So I'll pop the link to this one into the chat box, and you can see the prep time's 15 minutes. It says total time 50 minutes. Now that's assuming that you sit the meat aside and let it rest. But you can see that if you work quickly, you can actually, because you've already got the paste made, this one is ready in just over 30 minutes actually. So that one is a really delicious one that's based on the traditional Indian recipe. So I find using tikka paste in that particular one's quite handy. I think Mel's done now. I'll stop sharing.
Thanks, Jeff. So yeah, this is a nice peri-peri sauce that I'm keen to add to a bit of mayo. So look at how bright those colours are, and like not a single fake colour. Like some of the fake colours can have, like, some people are more sensitive to them than others, and myself and my son are definitely more sensitive to them than some people. I don't know about other people, but we've just been aware of it. So I'm just going to store it in a glass container. It says consume within a month. I don't think we'll have a problem doing that in our household. So the other recipe I'm doing today is barbecue sauce. So I'm not sure when you want to.
Yeah, well, no worries. We'll let you get ready for that. And thank you for showing us that beautiful coloured sauce, Mel. And I love how it doesn't contain any nasties.
And to get those colours in a sauce from the shop would most definitely have some pretty nasty additives, I think.
Yep, definitely. Thank you so much. We'll
know
see.
that it's all real ingredients. I love it. Still.
Exactly. We'll see your next dish in a moment. And what we're going to do is cross over to you, Kylie, if you're ready. We're going to see Kylie. Alrighty.
So I'm going to make the plum sauce through the guided cooking, and I've got all my ingredients ready. So I think it might be an American recipe or an English recipe because it's in ounces, but it doesn't matter because the Thermomix measures in ounces as well as grams. So let's just start with plum jam, and my goal for today was to make the plum jam, but there are no plums in season as we discussed, Jess. So I've had to use plum jam, but I bought the Peri-Peri plum jam because it just has the fruit and sugar and some pectin in it. So I'll just pop that in now. Because I'm trying to, you're trying to avoid the preservatives and additives in the commercial sauces by making your own plum sauce. So that's that one. And then next is some dark brown sugar. I didn't have dark brown sugar, so I just used the brown sugar that I had in the pantry. Don't think it makes much difference. And then 4 ounces of sweet potato cubed into 1-inch size pieces. I just chopped off a bit, pop that in. And 2 ounces of dried cranberries. I'm going to try drying my own cranberries next time, but these are some that I got at the supermarket. And a garlic clove. And some ginger. I didn't know about the coins, Jess, but it's only a little bit, so hopefully that's not too big to pop in each
I'm
time.
sure Thermi can handle it. Yep.
I'm sure it can. It handles ice, so you know.
Yeah.
And there's some Chinese spice and some salt because I've already pre-measured it, ready to go. And I'll just pop the lid on. And it's only 5 seconds on speed 10, so it'll be 5 seconds of noise. And that's just mushed it all up. You can see it all chopped up, even the potato. There's a little bit of potato there, but it cooks. So I'll just leave that potato because it blends in at the end because I've made it before. Give it a scrape with my trusty thermo scraper.
This is one of your favourites, isn't it?
Yeah,
Kylie?
I do love it. I like Asian sauces, so I was pretty happy to do this one. There's a jar of it in the fridge already, but we'll use it. So.
And what do you put the plum sauce on? Because I'm not familiar with it.
Just stir fries, and I think I originally made it because it's part of another dish in the Thermomix that you add the plum sauce to. I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it asks you for the sauce, and then it says that you can make that yourself. So
yeah,
I always
awesome.
make that myself.
Sounds like a great sauce, yeah, to add to a stir fry to add that nice little bit of sweetness.
Or duck or pork.
Yeah, duck would be amazing. There's some apple cider vinegar and some soy sauce. And then I've got to leave the measuring cup out. You can see that. And then it cooks for 6 minutes. So it cooks up to 212 degrees. It smells lovely while it's cooking. But yeah, also you could just do some stir-fried veggies and put some sauce on it as well.
Beautiful.
Or sausages. I don't know. I use sauce all the time. I love sauce.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my favorites. I love chutneys as well.
Yeah.
The like red onion relish chutney and there's beetroot chutneys. That it just adds.
Sorry.
It just adds lots of flavour, doesn't it?
It does. I like to just put a chutney on with some curry powder on some meat of whatever choosing you have and put it in the oven in a covered dish for about half an hour. Although I've got the meter now, so I stick the meter in it. However long that takes, and
Awesome.
steam some veggies, and then that's dinner. Just sauce and meat and veggies. Yeah.
Yep, that's what I love about these sauces is if you've got them either in the freezer or in a jar, then yeah, you can use them on a bit of protein and have some veggies, or if you're vegetarian, use it on marinating veggies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to sometimes put them on your roast veggies sometimes.
Yum. Sounds delicious. Thank you. Thank you, Kylie. We'll leave you there and we'll come back to you in a moment then, hey?
No worries.
Awesome. Alrighty, and what we'll do, if Joy's ready, we're going to zoom over to Joy. And the beauties of this business is we're all in different kitchens, and Joy's in the Murraylands. Some of us are in the hills, some of us are in the city, but we're all able to connect today. So really grateful, and thank you, Joy. Over to you.
No worries. Now mine's going to be a really quick, easy one, and it's actually going to be for my tea tonight. But I'm making ginger, chili, and soy marinade, and I'm going to make it low FODMAP and gluten-free, and talk to you about a vegetarian option as well. So first of all, I'm going to add ginger, fresh ginger. Now it says to add 2 garlic cloves, and if I'm going away for a couple of nights tomorrow, so I'm not going to eat garlic tonight because if I do, I need to be near a toilet. Sorry for the details, but so I'm not going to add them in tonight. But if you want to add them in, that's fine. A half to 1 fresh red chili, halved. Now I'm going to put a full chili in, seeds and all, because I love chili. Okay, and then we're going to put now this chops for 3 seconds. So quick. And we give it a scrape. So that's chopped. And then we're going to another 3 seconds. Okay. Now, it doesn't tell you to, but I will scrape it again, because as you probably know, it all goes up the sides and then it doesn't cook properly. So now this one says add 30 grams of sesame oil. So what I'm going to do here, instead of adding the garlic before, I'm going to add some garlic infused oil. Right? I don't know if you can see that, but Cobram Estate, I live on this stuff. I also love sesame oil, and I actually have none in the house that I can find. I've just moved, so otherwise I would have gone half and half, 15 grams garlic oil, 15 grams sesame oil. So I just put in 20 grams of garlic oil and 10 grams of just olive oil on its own. Okay, 30 grams of soy sauce. Now I use the Peri-Peri sauce. That is gluten-free, and I'm not particularly gluten-free, but I do prefer to eat that way. But sometimes, like if you wanted this sauce to be a bit thicker, perhaps you could use a ketchup mayonnaise or something like that. So, and I didn't have any white wine vinegar. So anyway, I'm putting in some apple cider vinegar, because most vinegars are interchangeable. And last one is 5 grams of fish sauce. Now, if you're vegan, you can leave that out. Or you can actually make your own vegan sauce. Just vegan fish sauce. So look it up. I've made it a few times. Look it up on Google. It's easy. So then we're going to insert measuring cup and 10 seconds.
That's awesome. Oh, sorry. I thought it was going to be high speed. I was going to chat for 10 seconds.
Oh. And then I've got my salmon for tonight and probably a bit for tomorrow, unless I get greedy and eat both of them. And I'm going to marinate that for a couple of hours and chop up some veggies and cook all that in the varoma a bit later on for my tea. So yeah, it's really easy to adapt any style of diet with the Thermomix, whether it's FODMAP, vegan, gluten-free, all of that stuff. It's great. I love it. And it's my sauce.
Yeah, awesome. And that's going to be so flavoursome, and you know exactly what's in it.
Exactly.
Thank you for sharing, because I hadn't seen that sauce. I've seen the honey soy one, but not that one. So that looks absolutely delicious, and on the salmon looks great. Imagine marinating tofu. We used to buy it years ago with different flavours, Japanese flavours and different flavours. Looks lovely. Thank you so much, Joy, for joining us today, and we will see you a bit later on.
Okay.
Enjoy your salmon.
I will.
Now, let me see. Kylie, are we going back to you?
Yeah, I've just got another step. It takes 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, excellent.
So I'll just scrape down the bowl. It smells amazing. I want to eat it already. It has that really, because it's got 5 spice in it, has that really, I don't know, lovely Asian smell to it. Just beautiful Asian food smell. It does actually smell like Peking duck. And again, and now I've got 10 minutes of cooking. So I'm off again.
Thanks so much. So it's just it's nice that the Thermi rings and reminds us to do an extra step, isn't it?
I did. I don't know if you saw me, but I did the dishes while I was waiting for the next step.
Oh, good on ya. I've got a few of mine to do too.
Awesome. That's what I like. I love that about the Thermomix, because you can get it all prepped, start cooking, and then clean up while some of the stages are happening, and then you don't get to the end and have a whole sink full of plates and dishes and preparation. So
yep, definitely. I love your passion, and thank you for sharing that with us. We will see you a bit later on.
Okay.
And Mel, did you want to jump on and do the barbecue sauce? And then I'm going to do another one. I forgot what it is, but I'll do that. I think it's the Laksa paste. Yep.
Yeah. So this is the barbecue sauce off of Cookadoo, and just want to quickly show you this recipe, but I just wanted to quickly mention about the plum sauce that was being made earlier. I've made that and I've used it on pork ribs, and that was really nice. Yeah. So this barbecue sauce will be used in this recipe, which is on the front of the barbecue cookbook. So it's the barbecued pork ribs, and we've been actually making them quite a lot lately. So we decided to take it a step further and make our own barbecue sauce as well. So before I start, I just Jess showed us her lovely tray of ingredients before, and I just wanted to show you mine as well, which, like, how good is that to know that all that is in your sauce instead of, you know, things that you can't even pronounce and numbers that shouldn't even be in food and all that stuff. So it just feels really good knowing that what you're putting in there and stuff. So got 150 grams of brown onions cut into quarters. That was actually halves. Whoops. It's all a guide, like we say. The next one actually says 2 garlic cloves, but as I said before, I like garlic, so I'm putting in 5. And then it says 800 grams of ripe tomatoes, room temperature, cut into halves. I didn't have them today and I didn't want to go to the shops, so I'm using 2 cans of tinned tomatoes. I love how we're all just interchanging with whatever we want. Like, it's so good, like, just to use up what you've got and just be able to keep going with the recipe, like not get stuck because you don't have an ingredient. So that was some red capsicum. Then it wants me to give it a stir. So, okay, giving that a stir. And then we are chopping for 5 seconds on speed 7. Nice and powerful again. I love that it's so quick. All right, so that's like 5 seconds and that's like a puree. It didn't matter that I didn't chop those onions into quarters at all. So I've got 50 grams of salted butter cut into pieces, 50 grams of balsamic vinegar, $100 grams of bourbon. And it did say in the tips that I could use whiskey, which is good because I was going to anyway. So that's what we had.
My husband just heard you say bourbon now.
What was that?
My husband just heard you say bourbon and raised his eyebrows, wondering what we're cooking.
I know, it's how good is it that it's going to go onto the ribs after? Like, yeah. And there's like beer in the rib marinade as well, which is yeah, it's really, really nice. So without measuring cup, we're cooking for 5 minutes for this first bit at 100 degrees.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And that's a great cookbook, that one, with lots of other sauces in that barbecue cookbook.
I love that cookbook. It's so good. And the meter as well, of course.
Yeah.
Love the meter.
Summer's coming. Summer's coming. More.
Yep. We've already started using our barbecue.
Yeah. Awesome.
Wait. Yeah.
Well, while that's cooking away, we might quickly do another sauce because we wanted to get through a fair few sauces for you guys. I've got my tikka paste still cooking. It's got 20 minutes, so we may not see that because our class is coming to an end. But basically, I would sterilize a jar, and you can sterilize in your Thermomix. You can pop them in the Varoma and steam them for baby bottles or jars. As well, or pop them in your oven and steam sterilize how you normally would. So I'm going to put my tikka paste into that jar, but right now I'm going to make a green curry paste. I'd love to hear if anyone else has made this before. It's one of my favorites to keep in the freezer. So today I'm going to use this mold and put the paste into the mold, freeze it, and then I'll pop it into bags. So I'll have one of these ready to go to throw into, maybe you could even throw into soups to boost the flavour there. You can throw it in, you can use it in laksa as well. And I'll pop the laksa recipe into the chat box and email to you guys because I've been looking for a laksa recipe. When I had a look at the back of a laksa paste jar at the shops, I noticed it was exactly the same as one of our recipes here in Cookie Do. And another recipe actually said just use the green curry paste in as a laksa paste. So that's what we'll do today, 2 in 1. You'll be able to do green curries as well as laksas with this paste. So let me see, it was green Thai curry paste. And this one, because it's not cooked, that's the reason I'm going to freeze them straight away. Oops, there we go. And it's actually telling me to get a clean jar. Now, the first one is our green chilies. I did halve these and de-seed mine because I'm a bit of a wuss. I don't want all the seeds. I don't want it too hot. And then it's asking for spring onions or shallots. So I've used shallots, these brown ones. I'm hoping if anyone knows any different, it might be different in different states, but when it says shallot, I'm using these ones. I know there's a bit of talk about different states meaning different things. Otherwise, you can use the spring onions and again, chop them into bits. I've just halved my shallots and I'm going to whack them in. So it's going to make a nice big amount there. So 3 sprigs of coriander leaves. I'm going to pop just the leaves in to this one. I forgot to get lemongrass and I couldn't find it in any in my freezer. So I'm going to cheat and use some of my essential oils. So just use food grade ones. I use doTERRA. I'm going to put in, I don't know, 4 drops. Smells delicious. 3 kaffir lime leaves. So I've gone and bought a tree a few months ago, a little tiny tree, kaffir lime tree. So sometimes I bruise them up a little, like just scrunch them up before putting it in. And put another one in. There we go. Pop that in. It's lovely having them fresh. A bit of shrimp paste. Malaysians, or it's known as belachan, I think, in the Asian stores.
Yep.
Or shrimp paste. Yep. And a bit of ground cumin. Pop that in. Some coriander. Oops, that was coriander, but this one's cumin again with my little Thermomix spice jar. Teaspoon of that. And we've got the coriander already. Some garlic cloves. Just going to pop them in, and you could put more in. Some fish sauce. There it is. And this one's just teaspoons. This one's just a whizzing up one. So it's not cooked at all, and that's why it'll last 2 to 3 weeks in the fridge. Or, as I said, freezing, it's good. And we have a question. I'll get to your question, love. Peanut oil. So just be aware that this one has peanut oil. So if you are going to be sending any to school or work and there's peanut allergies, maybe substitute for sesame oil or something like that, just so that you're not going to poison anybody with an allergy. Just be mindful of that. So that's all the beautiful stuff in there, as you can see. And Thermomix is going to whiz that up for 30 seconds, which I will do. Was that a lot? Oh, and another 30 seconds. So 2 lots of whizzes. So I will do that and I'll show you the finished product once we come back from seeing Mel's barbecue sauce, I reckon.
Yeah, that was perfectly timed as well, Jeff. So I've got all put in here together. So I'll just read out all the ones that are going to go in next. So 60 grams of pitted dates, some dark brown sugar, some Worcestershire sauce, some Tabasco sauce, some paprika, some mustard powder, some ground roasted wattle seed, which I actually had. And it's the first time I got to use it. So that's pretty exciting. I actually found it and
So you see that sort of wattle seed. Yeah, sorry, my dog's just crying. Yeah, so 1 teaspoon of ground wattle seed, dried bay leaf, a teaspoon of salt, and some ground pepper, and that is all going in there. Some pretty awesome ingredients going in there. Just need to grab the simmering basket to go on top, and then that's going to be a 90-minute cook. So once that's done, I will put the measuring cup back on, and then I'm going to blend it for a minute, turning it from speed 4 and gradually increasing it to speed 9. And I'll probably post some pictures on our in our Facebook page of the finished product for you guys, so because it's such a long cook. But yeah, I'm really excited to try this barbecue sauce. I think there's been some awesome ingredients going in there. I think it's going to taste yummy, and I can't wait to use it in the barbecue pork ribs recipe as well. So I might post some pictures of that as well on how I've used the sauces that I've made.
Thank you, Mel. So,
Thank you.
I bet your house is going to smell delicious.
Oh, actually, I forgot to say that. Thank you. I was going to say the first one was already smelling amazing. That was before half of the ingredients even went in there. So, yeah, you're right.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I was just popping into the chat box. Sorry, you probably saw that pop up, Mel.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Melissa was asking about, how much should we freeze our portions? So I'll just address that question. So I've said about 80 grams. I know, like for tandoori paste, we use that in chicken curries a lot, and I usually freeze mine in about 80-gram portions. That's just because that's the size of my silicone container, which is in the freezer right now. So I haven't got that one to show you, but today I'm going to use just this size, and I think that will be perfect. You can kind of play it by ear. I have been known to get them out frozen from the freezer and put them straight into things, like it could be a soup or like a laksa or something like that. Put them in and just add a couple more minutes to the cooking time if you're putting them in frozen, or if you are a bit prepared, you could grab them out of the freezer, let them sit at room temperature for a little bit to defrost. So my laksa, and thank you, Mel, for showing us that extra bit. And we look forward to seeing the pictures in our chat group. I think all of you guys are in our chat group, but I will send that out, a link to that as well for those who aren't. But this is my paste. It's really green, of course. This is the green curry paste. It's really nice, goes really nicely with the green curry paste that's in cookie dough. The green curry chicken that's in cookie dough. And if you're wanting to, I have been known to use this and paste it onto chicken and fish actually, and just put it in the oven. Like what Kylie was saying earlier, just being able to have one of these sauces and either marinate your protein, or just sort of pop it straight into the oven, and then have some veggies to serve with it. It makes it a really quick dish, and I definitely agree. This is how much we've got of that now that I've scraped half of it off the lid. And this will make, this usually is not as much as the tikka paste and the tandoori paste. This one I find will make around 4 curries, I think, depending on how much you pop in your curry. But like I said, you could pop it on your protein, mix in maybe some coconut milk, and you're going to have a beautiful flavour to put onto your meats and vegetables. Now we don't have time to do another dish that we were half thinking of doing, because this was a really impromptu class. We wanted to do a vegan sauce, and I'll pop that into the email for you. I have got my cashews soaking, which is the base, and I wanted to show you this one. We might pop it into our sauces and pastes 2.0 class because it's a really delicious vegan creamy sauce that you can add to vegetables for a veggie bake, or just to drizzle on top of pretty much anything, which is really great if you're a vegan and you're looking for a cheesy sort of sauce to put on. It's got beautiful things like nutritional flakes and spices and things, and with the cashew base to give you the creaminess. It's actually really nice. So I can tell you more about that one next time. I'm going to pop this into my tray there and freeze those. And I hope you guys have got some tips from today. Do I need to cross back to anybody? Maybe the plum sauce?
Yep. I
You
just
see
finished it
Kylie
off.
there?
Yep.
Oh,
So there it is. Oh, hang on.
that was quick, Kylie.
Yeah,
Long
it was really
cook.
quick. It's lovely and red from the plums. And it's
Awesome.
delicious.
And
Smells
that's
amazing.
it's made a fair bit. And how do you store that one, Kylie?
I just pop it in a jar in the fridge, like in a clean jar in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't last long.
Is that because you use it quickly?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if you were adding it to a stir fry, like about how much do you reckon that you'd need to add it to, say, if you were doing, something like there's Chinese stir fried veggies, you could add some to that.
You could. I probably would add a few tablespoons, but I wouldn't just add that. It's really thick and very rich. So it might be a bit overpowering.
Yeah, you could add some liquids to water it down.
Stock in or something, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. But it did the blend thing that Mel was talking about. I did that while you were talking about when you were making your paste. It does that blend for a minute, increasing the speed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. I knew we weren't going to have a lot of time to talk about, so I've done that step and scraped it all down. So
thank you. That's great to see that, and thank you so much. Well done, Kylie. You survived your first cooking class.
I did.
You did very well.
Thank you.
So thank you to everybody for joining. Let me have a little remove spotlight from you, Kylie. Just a sec. Joy, did you have anything else you wanted to show us or share with us before we finish up?
Yeah, a quick little share. I'm actually, you might have maybe looked at me while I was cleaning my Thermomixes. I'm going to Port Germain for a couple of days, and I'm staying in a very basic cabin. So I'm taking my Thermomix with me and some food, and I'm going to cook while I'm up there.
Nice.
That's what I love about Thermomix.
Yeah, and it's great to take to holiday houses, that's for sure. Well, enjoy your trip and enjoy making some new things in your Thermomix.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody for joining at 5 o'clock today. A couple of us are going to jump back on. Mel, myself, and another lady called Tiff are going to jump on and for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and chat about what it's like being a consultant. And we're going to show you a bit more about our starter kit, which is on special at the moment for $62.50 until the 25th of August. So if you wanted to go to that session, you should be able to find that one in the same link that you used to register for this class. And we're going to come back at 5 o'clock and talk a little bit more, give you a bit more insight into what it's like being a consultant. But you saw us today, and this is one part of it because we're moving more to a virtual space. So we can actually do our entire business in a virtual space. So we're going to chat a little bit more about that. If you'd like to join, please do. But thank you for joining, and I hope you've picked up a few tips today, and we'll continue this conversation in our Thermi chat group as well, and as Joe and Mel have mentioned, and give some more tips about how sauces and pastes can save us time and add flavour to
I won't.
our meals.
I'm in jail.
Oh, that's right. You're in Facebook jail. You might come back another time. No worries, Joy. No worries. And thank you, Mel, again. Thank you.
Yes.
Enjoy your barbecue sauce.
Smells amazing as predicted. Yeah, can't wait to use it. And I'm disappointed I don't have any grapeseed oil to make mayo for my peri-peri.
No. Grapeseed oil is bad for you, Mel. Use
What oil
light
should I
olive oil. I'll show you.
Can you use olive oil?
Matt, that is what I use for mayonnaise.
I'll use
Light olive oil.
I've got some good olive oil, some nice organic olive oil.
Has
Don't
to be
use the dark
light.
stuff though. It'll go bitter.
It's pretty light.
Good. Yep.
I don't know. Now I'm nervous.
It's always hard to find a light olive oil, so that's good to know. Good to know, Joy, that you found one.
Grapeseed oil's not good for you. It's not good for you.
All right.
We'll have to look into that some more. Thank you, Joy. Yeah.
Thanks everyone.
No.
That was really I love sauces and paste too. And like you guys were saying, it's really, once you've got them there, it makes dinner time easy, like you guys said as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just add a protein and some veg or some salad and you've got an awesome dinner like really quickly. So those sorts of, and yeah, like no jar sauce, you're saving like heaps of stuff. So yeah. And take out that decision making stuff as well, like if you've got like a few options with one sauce, like you can have the same thing 5 different ways, kind of.
Exactly.
Like,
Thanks, Mel. And we'll have to do a second sauce show because there's just so many sauces to talk about. But thanks everybody, and have a great afternoon. And we might see some of you guys at 5 o'clock if you'd like to join that session. It'll just be about 20 minutes, half an hour. So have a great arvo and see you guys soon.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you. See ya.
Bye.